It's a question I ask a lot of artists because of their age, of course. Are they working differently, looking at the world differently? Because the hangman's just around the corner, not only for them, but for all of us. But Davey told me he's too busy being present. He has no time for death. Check out the interview. Now remember, Davey has a brand new album out. There'll be links in the description of this video where you can buy it. Also links to the entire interview. Usually when we release part one of an interview, the entire interview is on our sister channel, Rock History Book, and there'll be links right at the top of the description if this clip is not long enough for you and you want to hear the whole thing. So check that out. It's also a podcast. Here's Elton John's famous guitarist, Davey Johnstone. I'm starting to, I'm very conscious of it now. And songs like that speak to me. I'm very conscious of going, make good use of your time. Is there ever been a point in your life where you went, hey man, I don't know how long this is going to last, this gig, this life?
Well, yeah, I guess I've thought that occasionally, but I don't really, that's not me. That's not the way.
You're not wired that way.
Yeah, I'm not wired that way exactly. I'm not one of these people who feel I'm not like about the future, because I think, why worry about the future? Because I mean, we're here today, right now. I try and stay in the know if I can, because that's what I find is the most comfortable place. I think if you worry about the future, you're taken away from what's going on right now. I mean, I'd rather have a conversation right now about now and how I feel now, because it doesn't worry me so much about that. I think it's important for me, it's been important to live my life so that whoever I come into contact with, I can maybe look them in the eye and go, yeah, how you doing, whatever. I tend not to worry about about rank, about levels of, let's call them tiers of the way that things are supposed to run. Like he's got this much money, so he's so much better than me. I've never lived my life in that fashion. So therefore I try not to live in fear. I think a lot of people tend to be intimidated by aspects of how well somebody's done, maybe the size of the house or car that they have, and forget about how much they contribute themselves to their everyday lives. And I think that fact has really stood me in good stead over the years, because my parents were really down to earth. They were working class Scottish people who didn't have a lot. We were quite poor, but I never felt poor, because my parents' attitude to life was very loving and very, they tend to focus on the good things in life and the basic things in life. And I've kind of carried that on, hopefully, to this day.
Have they been able to, where your parents, was there a point where they came up to you and said, Davey, we're proud of you, or were they wired that way to say that?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're wonderful, my parents. I mean, they're gone obviously now, but they were always very, very encouraging to me. For example, in the early days, when I got my first guitar and I would be watching TV and then watching maybe Top of the Pops, the weekly show in the UK. And I'd be listening to Elvis records that my sisters had. My sisters were 10 years older than me, so I got to hear Elvis and Buddy Holly and all that when I was 5. And that's really probably what happened to me. I suddenly got this bolt of rock and roll, this live injection, and that's what it was. I was hooked, from an early age. But no, I was, whatever I got involved in, be it art, because I was something of an artist myself, and music, they would encourage me. Instead of saying, you should really get a real job, which I know most people went through. And I heard that from people, when I got to be in my teens. And for me, it was going to be music. That was it, and school teachers would tell you, what are you doing, man? You should be trying to get a real job. And of course, you think back, and that was back in 1965, 66. And people, the revolution as such hadn't really happened, and people with long hair were being frowned upon in funny clothes. And I was attracted to that. So that's what I was back in those days. And my parents never really gave me a hard time about it. And when I told them I was going to London when I was 17 years old, they were like worried for me. They were terrified, but they said, okay, we kind of understand. We get it. You're different. And so, they always backed me up. So when things as things progressed for me, when I was trying to be a session player in London, and I'm like 18, 19 years old. And then finally, after all kinds of, knocking at the door, getting the gig with Elton, they didn't know who Elton wasn't actually, neither did I at that time. So as my career suddenly really took on, they were very proud of me, and I was able to help them in their advancing years, because and I kept very close with them. I flew them out to New York when we played 7 sold out shows at Madison Square Garden. I flew them out to New York for their first time to America. So that was, to me, that was something that I'm very glad that I got to do. It was kind of like, I've got to repay my parents for all the stuff they've done for me.
Yeah,
it's great.
We'll have another clip from Davy Johnstone in a few days. Remember, if you want to hear the entire interview, it is on our sister channel, Rock History Book. And this is also a podcast. There'll be a link to it in the description of this video, and a link for you to buy Davy's brand new album. Make sure you comment on our videos. We read all the comments. Buy a t-shirt, you can help support the channel. And remember, subscribe to the channel. It makes us very happy. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take good care of yourself.